As a 30-year-old, I was browsing through 9gag while suddenly a clever edited video popped up. I found it funny, but the comment section didn't because it was reposted from TikTok. And on 9gag, you don't just post TikTok videos. Anyways, it was a video from Clay, I can't pronounce his last name so I won't, on the Buttercup song. Originally, the idea came from Kelly Freeman, and it's very simple. You can just use Adobe Premiere Pro for that, and I've even seen people using KineMaster, which is a mobile app to make it. So basically you duplicate your clip, then put your playhead on the frame that you'd like to come in, trim the clip to that point, right-click, go to frame hold option, and from the drop-down menu, you choose hold on out point. Then you create a mask around the subject or any other body parts, and finally you animate that clip on a position or rotation property and make sure that your last keyframe has the original transform properties. And that's it! There's nothing much to it, so that's why we did some extra twists to it. But before we're going to take a look at that, I'd first like to thank Storyblocks for their support today. Now, we've been talking about Storyblocks for so many years now, and apparently there are still some who don't have a subscription yet. Listen, you're missing out on some amazing resources. Now, aside from the high quality 4K stock clips, you can also download overlay effects, something that we use with so many projects. Or whenever we need a quick intro or title animation, we can just download one of their After Effects templates. Storyblocks video saves us time and helps us to create something awesome. For what you get, it's a super cheap price to pay. Definitely if you know that you can download unlimited video assets. So go ahead and check it out by clicking that first link in the description down below. Alright, so for the more advanced floating body parts, we're going to need Adobe After Effects, because the first thing we did was do a camera tracking. This is also the reason why we shot this outside, as we have a lot more structure and contrast on the floor, which is gonna help with that camera tracking. Once the tracking is done, I right-click the closest point on the ground to the subject and choose Create Null Object. Then I can go ahead and copy the transform options from that null object over to a still frame. You're gonna have to rotate and scale it back properly, but if you set the opacity to 50, it's easy to match. And an important note to give here is that you want to use the anchor point property and the axes to change the position. If you just drag your clip around, you might do it on the Z position, and that will break the tracking. So once you got that in place, you can now animate the Z position like we did with the puzzle poses. And that way they slide in, but also stay on the ground due to the tracking. And for the shoes there, we didn't animate anything. They just stuck in place after we linked them to a 3D tracking. And by the way, after you've copied the transform from the null object to your still, you can delete that null. For every new still, you want to create a new null object from a new point and do the same thing over again. Furthermore, we just played around with creative movements like with the framing gesture, which is nothing more than just animating the scale. But yeah, that's it! Due to lacking time, I wasn't able to make a full tutorial on this. Even though the editing technique is quite easy to do, it does take a lot of time with all the masking and animations. But I do hope that you've learned something new and that you've got a better insight of how it works now. So thank you so much for watching, thank you Storyblocks for the support, and as always, stay creative. Still, what? Het ging zo goed! Some amazing point to the ground, on the ground. Do it on the Z. After you've copied the... Hey man! Hier opnames hier hè man. Ah mannekes toch! Spreek de goeie Jordi!